Hi everyone, welcome to our channel again. Before we start today's video, I wish to thank all of you for your great response to our first video. Hereby request you to keep watching and support us as we can make more contents which will help you a lot. So let's go to today's video. Today we'll be sharing a list of 8 sectors which you can consider investing with a long-term horizon. Okay. The first sector to go or to consider is consumption as a sector. What you mean by consumption as a sector is companies which are involved in the sector gets benefited by all the retail spends in the market. Okay? So as a human being or as a normal person, we spend a lot of money by buying groceries, by buying clothes, by buying luxury items, consumer durables, multiple other things. All this is consumption. Okay? So companies which are involved in manufacturing of these products, companies which are involved in distribution of these products are part of this consumption as a sector. Okay? So why you should invest into this sector? The very first reason you should invest into this sector, because in India the incomes are rising year on year. So as and when the income rises, there is going to be a higher spend. Okay, so that's good. That's the first main reason you should invest. Second, lot of investments are being done into the sector by this manufacturing and distribution companies, which gonna be expanding the distribution, selling more products. So this sector is going to be multiplying. The third important reason why you should invest into this sector is the consumption as a theme has become completely online also. A lot of companies offering all products online, so a lot of interior consumers also get access to these products via online shopping, and government is also supporting a lot through different policies and reforms that helps a lot. And also a lot of credit facilities available to people who are buying maybe high-end products or costlier products, so they get easy EMIs or loans from various institutions. That is also boosting this sector. So this is the very important sector you should consider investing. Now the second sector which you should consider investing is manufacturing as a sector. This is completely linked to the consumption. So as you understand, rising income, more consumption, more spends, that leads to more production. So it requires more manufacturing in India. And additionally, not only the internal manufacturing which is ideally used to for consumption internal in India, there is also Indian demand for exports have gone up. So Indian products are in demand in other countries. So as exports are also rising, so manufacturing will be higher. So manufacturing sector will be growing from here. And there is also a lot of things which is like contract manufacturing. A lot of countries are uh, uh, opting India for contract manufacturing. So that is also helping a lot. Manufacture also contributes a large amount to the India's GDP, and government have come with various different policies to boost this. Okay, so why to invest into this sector? In a very three simple term, the first thing, more demand for across all the products, which leads to higher production, higher manufacturing. That's the very first reason. The second reason is India is expanding their capacities in terms of foreign companies also investing into India and setting up new factories in India. They are creating India as a manufacturing hub. Just for example, Apple is setting up the assembly plant in India. So that is one of the example of manufacturing expansion in India. And the third is government also supporting multiple things through reforms and policies. One of the key important thing to discuss or talk is PLI scheme, which is production link incentives. So ideally, government gives incentives to manufacturing firms who do more production. They have specified certain sectors and certain categories of product. So if the manufacturer is manufacturing those kind of products, they get a production link incentive from the government. So that's the reason manufacturing as a sector will grow over a period of time to much bigger size. Okay. The third important sector which you should consider investing is renewable energy. Okay. So as the cost of oil and gas goes up, other things goes up, the focus or the demand for renewable energy comes up. So what you mean by renewable energy? Renewable energy is energy which is generated by renewable products, which is ideally naturally replenished. Okay. So just to keep it simple, this is the energy which is generated through sun, through water, and through wind. Okay, and also through geometrical or geothermal heat. Okay, so major thing to understand is sunlight, which is solar power, second is water related power generation, and the third is wind related power generations. So companies which are into this particular sector will benefit, because the cost of power generation, energy generation in this sector has gone down, so the demand is increasing day by day, and it becomes more easier or more less costlier compared to the other sources. Okay, so this is the third sector you should invest. The reason to invest into this sector, because demand is increasing because of reduced cost. Okay. Second, a lot of companies have done a lot of expansion and investment in this particular sector. That's the second main reason. And third, definitely government has provided a lot of support through reforms and policies in this particular sector. So renewable energy as a sector is a very strong sector which will grow at a much faster pace and can generate a good return. The third sector is the fourth sector, sorry, is auto ancillary and electric vehicles. I know it fascinates every one of you that EVs. So yes, EVs and including auto companies is also going to be a good sector to consider investing. The reason why auto sector is India is less penetrated in auto compared to any developed country. Okay, so India, the average population which owns car in India is much lesser compared to any developing or a developed country. So there's a huge scope for growth in this particular sector. There's going to be large amount of population will be buying new cars, new two-wheelers, new three-wheelers. So this sector is going to grow up, and because of the rising income and a larger younger population, this demand will consistently be there, and this sector will do good for in a longer run. Additional things just to highlight, as I told you, the reasons to invest into this sector. The first is definitely demand is growing up, and there is a huge penetration which is definitely possible. Demand is shifting from a normal conventional vehicle to an electric vehicle. It will happen initially in two-wheelers, then in three-wheelers, then in four-wheelers. So there is demand which is shifting to electric vehicles, and ideally, as per estimate, 30% of cars or vehicles will be electric in next 8 to 10 years. Okay, that's going to be a good thing, and we should invest into this sector majorly into electric vehicle or auto component manufacturing companies. Fifth sector, which is again interlinked with all these sectors, is banking and financial sector. Okay, so banking and financial sector has two different aspects of growth. One, as I earlier told you, that incomes are rising in India. So as in the income rises, the money is kept in the bank. People tend to save more or invest more. So banking companies, bankers, bankings companies, and asset management companies will get benefited. Brokerage companies will get benefited. So banking and financial sector will benefit out of that. So they have larger balances with them where they can lend more. Because of the rising income, the affordability also increases. So there is a definitely a higher demand for retail loans, which is personal loan, credit cards, home loans, and other things. So the retail side, the growth is there, and simultaneously there's going to be a institutional growth, because as I earlier discussed, that there's going to be a larger consumption in India, due to which larger manufacturing is required. So when you set up a bigger factory, you require funding, you require loans from the bank. So the banks will infuse these funds or will lend these funds to these bigger corporates who can set up this manufacturing factories, and this in turn helps the bank also a lot because they disburse larger loans. Okay? So this is the fifth important sector you should consider. The sixth important sector is again linked to government policies and the demand, which is consumption related demands. Okay? Government is going to spend a lot of money for infrastructure projects. So they're building more roads, more bridges, more dams. So companies which are linked to this are going to be getting benefited. So you should invest into this as a sector. So all those companies which are providing engineering services, companies which provide cement, companies which provide raw materials, they all going to be growing. And simultaneously, under this sector is a subsector called building materials, which are basic building materials which is required to construct a property or a flat or a tower or a building. So all those are basic products. Maybe your sanitary wares, your tiles, your cement, POPs, multiple stuff. So building material companies also going to be growing much faster. So that's the sixth important sector you should consider investing. As again demand is increasing because the incomes are rising, so both, and definitely government spends are rising in this sector. That's the first main reason. There is again a lot of expansion done by different companies because they project a very good growth in this particular division. And third, which is again government supporting via different reforms and policies. Seventh important sector we should consider investing is IT as a sector. Okay, so IT has been a backbone for India. It contributes to a very large export subsidy, or sorry, the export contribution to India. So IT is going to be in demand. IT is very vast in nature. One is definitely information technology. It can be further classified into digitalization, artificial intelligence, and much more. So in future we'll be talking about robotics. We're going to talk about driverless cars. We're going to be talking about different missiles, different technology. So various things which is happening in IT. So IT is going to be a very big sector, and the expansion in any sector is only possible with IT and different things related to IT. So if you automate things, then this is going to be growing. So IT as a sector will be a good sector to invest in. And the last one, which is the eighth sector, is ideally all the other sectors which you can think of. The first sector you can think of is pharma, then you have chemicals, and any other sectors which you can consider. Okay, so these are the eight sectors which you can consider investing with a long-term perspective for generating a very good return. Okay. So for more information, again, you can write us to at support@finspurt.com, and keep watching. We'll see you soon in our second video. Thank you.
Let me tell you the two types of analysis which are used in the stock market. First one